Something I'm known for saying is that art is subjective and design is objective, in the sense that there are certain principles at work with design that you can objectively say something has been designed properly or improperly without commenting upon the underlying aesthetic that's being put forth. What I mean by that is you can have a logo and you can look at that logo, and there are certain things that are subjective. That might be the image that goes with it. It might be a frog, and I may not like frogs, but I can comment upon whether or not that logo is going to be readable at a very small size, whether it's going to work with different backgrounds, and of course, things like the file format, other things like that. So we can tell right away, if we understand these objective criteria and parameters, whether or not something has been designed properly or improperly. And to that end, I wanted to put together a little presentation for you guys just to go over some of the basic principles of design when it comes to logos and websites. So let's start. First thing I want us to look at is this right here. And this is just a quick graphic I've put together showing the principle of a logo design in terms of its objective criteria, some of the things to keep and consider when you're having a logo developed either for yourself or for one of your clients or when you're looking at a logo. You can see the text here at the top, proper logo, proper logo. It's scaled up and it's scaled down, and it's perfectly readable, big and small. It's also readable on a white and black background. Underneath it is improper logo. Improper logo is barely readable in the color or light section. It's perfectly readable in the black section on a white background. We go to a dark background. Now one pops up, one doesn't, right? You can clearly see also, if you're looking on the white background, as this logo scales down, improper becomes less and less readable. And this boils down to some of the objective criteria for logo design. You want the logo to be readable at very large size of a billboard, and readable when it's a postage stamp. And if you look at all the logos from major corporations that you know about, whether it's IBM, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, Disney, any large company, their logos all follow this design convention where that logo can be color, it can be completely white, black and white, and it's readable large, it's readable small. Very popular thing to do is to design a color logo like proper logo up here, and then just to turn the whole thing white when you put it on a dark background. That works too, and that's something that is right here in this presentation you're looking at. When you look at the Rocket Driver logo, we've chosen to do that for video. Works just fine, and it's not improper to do that. What is improper is when you have situations where your clients have a logo like this one that's improper logo, where they've chosen a very light color paired with something very dark, and they don't want a black and white. They don't want a light version of it, a lightened up version to be put onto dark backgrounds. They want to put something like this. And then that limits the number of the background color that you can utilize. This is a very important concept for you to grasp. If you need to, just pause your screen and look at this. You understand it intuitively that there's a right and a wrong way to develop a contrast and brightness profile for a logo. And there's also an improper way to develop fonts. Now, both of these fonts, even improper logos, is fairly dense, right? It's a fairly bold font. When you get to very light fonts, they can completely blur out where they're not even readable when they're small at all. And when it comes to doing things like print or making t-shirts, making cards, making brochures, menus, any kind of print materials, that can become such a problem that, it renders the logo completely useless. These are very amateur mistakes you see made by people who are designers who either listen to the client explicitly and the client has no clue, or designers who are just new to design and they don't have an understanding that that logo they're making has to be useful in many, many, many different places. It has to be useful on the sides of trucks and business cards, and so it's got to scale up and scale down and still be readable. Obviously, I didn't choose a graphic here for this illustration because the graphic, it applies exactly the same way. It's the same exact criteria applies to graphics. And when it comes to graphics, generally speaking, if you look at big companies and, big organizations that have been around the block, so to speak, their logos are usually pretty simple. They're not overly busy. One of the big mistakes that people make when they develop logos for themselves is they want lots of different colors, lots of complexity, lots of detail and nuance in the logo, and that is not the place for it. That's a big, big mistake. When you think of the word brand, right? Remember, brand came from the most simple term of all. It goes all the way back to branding cattle because you want it to have a simple designation of that ranch or that ranch, right? They would make a very simple mark, and that mark would be that ranch's mark for its cattle to differentiate it from other ranches' cattle. When it comes to and that applies all the way through to today, your logo needs to be simple, easily recognizable, and able to be printed and placed everywhere. Keep that in mind when you have a logo developed either for yourself or for your clients. It's a huge mistake to make logos, lots of colors. I limit logo design to a handful of colors, just a handful. At the very, very outer limit, 16 colors. And that's crazy for me. Most logos I would design or I've built in my life are namely 3 colors or less. I try to keep it very, very simple. Few colors, that's it. And then from there, you can go and you can obviously use that logo in many different situations. And, your logo is not performing the job of marketing the company, but it is performing the job of imprinting your name in someone's mind. Keep that in mind. Now, let's go on. We've talked about logos here for just a minute. Let me talk to you about websites. Up here on my screen, I have the website for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, right, or the Met, as it's really well known. The Met website, I've got the Apple website, and I have a website, get ready to cringe, arngren.net. This website has been used by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of designers as an example of a terrible website. It's so infamous that it probably gets this company sales, but it is absolutely atrocious. Now, these websites are all trying to do the same thing, right? The Met is trying to get you to come visit the Met, right? They're trying to get you to show up at exhibits, events, join or donate them money, buy stuff from their store. They're trying to get you to navigate around and visit their site. So we have Apple. Apple's obviously trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get you to buy their products. Well, Arngren is too. So what's the mistake that these companies are making, right? Well, Met and Apple are doing an excellent job. Arngren's doing a terrible job. Now, you may say at first, well, it's too busy. Yeah, but all these sites are kind of busy. I mean, they're all doing different things. Apple, however, is presenting things in a sequential order, top to bottom, right? They're not asking your brain to make a whole lot of decisions right away up here. They're saying you can navigate around the site if you want to go somewhere else. If we've taken you to the wrong place, you can go research iPad, iPhone, watch, TV, music support, Mac. You can go anywhere you want, but we're going to talk to you about this main subject right here, which is the iPhone X. The Met, we go to their website, right? We show up at the Met's main site right here, metmuseum.org, and they're telling you experience 5,000 years of art at the Met. And there's a nice graphic playing in the background, videos playing, and again, we have navigation clearly visible here at the top, and then we go down the page, and we're presented with options in a sort of a Christmas tree fashion, where at the top there's the star of the show, and then below it there's branches and things branch out as we go down. But again, we can also decide, hey, we want to go somewhere else. We can go to exhibitions, events, art, learn, join, give, and shop right here at the top. So the principle at work here on the Met's website and the Apple site is the exact same principle. These sites are doing something different. One's a museum and one's, Apple, and they're selling computers and obviously the services they've got, like, the iPhone, watch, etc. But they're doing the same thing. They present the visitor immediately upon landing on the site with a variety of options right at the top, right? Go wherever you want, but we're showing you something. This is the same way, if you think about it, the way that it is when you enter a building. If you enter a mall, for example, you walk in and there's a map there and it tells you, hey, go anywhere you want in the mall. But then right in front of you, there's obviously the store that's right there when you get inside. This is kind of a layout that fits the human sort of method of behavior very well. And this is a mark of a properly designed website. And I don't care what your site's doing, whether it's selling something, whether it's a restaurant, it could be the smallest business. Navigation should always come up right away and be clearly visible. Your site should probably have a search function. If you have a large website, if it's big and it's got tons of content, you'll want to have something like that. Your website should always have a single unifying narrative or message that it's giving to the visitor when they first show up. Imagine if you showed up at the site, this was just some graphic and some meaningless blurb of text. Not good. You're telling somebody, hey, take a journey with me. When you get here, they're telling you, plan your visit. When you go to Apple's website, right? You get here and it's saying, hey, iPhone XR from $99 a month or $479. Buy it or learn more. iPhone X, learn more, buy it. So they're compelling you, take a journey with me. Let's go and take a look at some stuff together. The Met's doing that. Apple's doing that. Poor websites don't do that. This is a convoluted mess of navigation. I don't know where I'm going. Even if I spoke whatever language this is in, I don't know where I'm going. Index is over here, and it's vast, and it's multicolored, and it's confusing. It's very small text on a modern display. And then we just have plastered across the front different products all over the place, right? We'll switch to English so we can see. Oh, I switched to English, and it takes me to this confusing mess. The point is, this website is set up just to confuse the hell out of the visitor. This is not proper design. But you'll see, I mean, this is obviously an extreme example of bad design. However, this kind of extremely bad design example is emblematic of, what you'll see in bad sites everywhere. There's no plan behind it. There's no mind behind it. Things are slopped up there. They're just thrown up haphazardly as, an afterthought. And, of course, this doesn't work very well. Now let's go through some of the other principles of a properly designed site. So first of all, you have easy navigation. You have a message that you're sending clearly. Well, let's say your website were a site where you wanted lead capture, right? Well, if you wanted lead capture on the site, right away at the top, you would compel people to get something for their information. You'd say to them, hey, download our free ebook right here. Click here. And they'd click and they'd go to a page, and then they would enter in their information to access the ebook. Or you might say to them, hey, enter to win our sweepstakes. We're giving away a free whatever. Or you would say to them, hey, register for our forums here. You do something to get the person to give you their information, to get them into your system. And that would be something you would do if you were just trying to have a site for lead cap. Also, many sites, and Apple's not doing this, and neither is the Met, but many sites put video front and center. This is the video background, which is great, but many sites will put a video front and center for people to click to learn about the company or learn about the business right then and there. That's another great design option that you have at your disposal. Then, when you get down into the site, many sites will have different types of slider galleries. This is a gallery here, which is linking to all different exhibits at the Met. You might have a gallery there, and it might be a gallery of food at a restaurant explaining, hey, this is gnocchi, this is, fettuccine Alfredo, this is our pizza. And it might have a blurb of information about that pizza. Hey, come and get it, whatever. The point is, you may have products there if you're working on an e-com site explaining different products or principles. It's always good to take advantage of any opportunity that you have to input good quality content for the purposes of search and for the purposes of explaining yourself clearly and gaining the confidence of your prospects who are going to land on the site. Sites also will have sections where they do comparison charts between products or between their business and others. They'll have about sections that are filled with information about the company. The point is, though, how it's laid out should always flow and be logical. Another major principle is if you pay attention to your eyeball, how your eye tracks the page you're looking at. Overly busy sites that have tons of text are basically telling the viewers, slow down, don't move. You need to read this, right? They're halt signals. What I want quick little blurbs of text because I want the visitor to be able to quickly access what information they want. I'm not going to convert somebody in a text paragraph into buying my product. I'm not going to do anything with that other than slow them down and give them information. So if you look at the Met site, they have these quick little sections. Hey, the primer, get a fresh look at life, death, lemon peels in the Dutch Golden Age. Check out the primer. So all through here are these quick little blurbs, and check it out. Artist interview, watch now. Again, quick blurb on the calendar, explore more. Cast your vote. The Met 150, cast your vote. Met 150 design contest, vote now. The Met collection, browse artworks, become a member, join today. It's giving you information quickly. There's a graphic associated with it. There's a quick blurb of text and then a button to link you off. And let's see what Apple does. Same exact thing. Small amount of information, learn more, buy. Scroll down, AirPods, the wireless charging. Watch the film or buy. Watch, more powerful, more colorful. Learn more, buy. Get a Mac or iPad for college. Get Beats, shop. They're giving you a little bit of information, associated graphic, learn more. A little bit of information, associated graphic, learn more. And they're not taking up all horizontal space. These blurbs are small. I'm on a 24-inch display, and on my 24-inch display, split down the middle, they're taking up half and half. This will scale up or scale down very nicely. The bottom of pages, there's this sitemap, right? There's this big map of all the different pages and sections. Also, at the Met, I haven't even browsed there. Yep. We've got at the bottom, terms and conditions, site index. We can go there and we can go and check out about the Met, blogs, videos, press, and we can sign up for their newsletter. We can go to their YouTube channel. They've got a bunch of links put down there. That's a standard design convention. Now, very important for you to consider is how much all of this will impact the overall long-term performance of the website. An improperly designed site is a recipe for absolute disaster. Improperly designed graphics follow these same principles. Overly wordy, overly designed, busy, screwed up designs, or slop together junk like this ends up being something that doesn't help you at all. You need to think of design in the right context. Design is just as important as anything else that you're doing. And in fact, when it comes to web development, things like that, it's way more important than you probably think. That's going to conclude this video in our design series. Our next video, we're going to explore more design principles of websites versus brochures and print materials and how they differ. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, go ahead and register, subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and hit the bell so that you get notified whenever we drop a new video. I'll see you in the next vid. Talk to you soon.